In this new section, we are going to be just evaluating some, it looks like some numbers that are raised to rational exponents. Yep. Let's take a look at this one here. Let's quit talking about it. Of course, we've always got this issue every single time. If I had 64 raised to the half power, so that's the irrational exponent. That's what this section's over. 64 raised to the half. What this really means is it's equal to 8. Okay, so think about this. You see this 2 right here? I need two numbers multiplied together to gives me 64. In other words, 8 times 8. Take half of it. No, don't think of it that way. I just came up with that. But 8 times 8 is your 64, right? Okay. You'll catch on. Let's look at another one here. What if we had negative 9 raised to the half? So can you think of two numbers and multiply together that gives us negative 9? Well, we know that 3 times 3 is 9, but we got to somehow get negative 9, okay? It's not possible. So we say that this has no real number. There is no number that we can multiply together by itself that gives us negative 9. But what if we had this, negative 9 raised to the half power? Now, didn't that look the same as this one up here? No. It's not the same, and here's the reason why. There's no parentheses around this. See? What this says is, okay, we have this negative out front. Really think of the parentheses as just around the 9. In other words, now we have 3 times 3, which is 9, but we have this negative out front. So this becomes negative 3. See that? Negative 3. Be careful about that. Get you every time. All right, let's take a look at this one here. We got 9 over 49 raised to the half power. Now, I would suggest that you always reduce this fraction inside first if you can. Okay, if you can reduce that inside. But we can't. Let's look at it this way. 3 squared can be rewritten, right? Replacing 9, and 7 squared. It's all raised to the half power. You see that? What do we do with exponents? I think we've already worked this section. You multiply them together. So this becomes 2 times a half is just 1 over, then you go ahead and do this one down here, 2 times a half, which is just 1. So what does this reduce down to? 3/7. Okay, 3/7. Pretty simple. There's more than one way to look at this stuff, I shall tell you. Let's see, let's look at this one here. 256 raised to the 4th power. We want to reduce this down. So in other words, we want to multiply a number, find a number that we can multiply together 4 times. See that? 4 times. That gives us 256. Well, I'm here to tell you that that number is, and of course, let's simplify this. What is this? This is just x to the 4th power. Okay, and it's all raised to the 4th. And when we multiply 4 times a 4th, we get x to the 1st power. We got to figure out what that x is. What about if it were 4? This would be 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256. Okay, I'll let you in on that secret. So think about that. You have now 4 to the 4th power. It's all raised to the 4th. When we multiply our exponents, we get 4 to the 1. Okay? So this is equal to 4. Okay, that's a way of thinking about all that. Since we have dealt with multiplication of exponents, I think, didn't we? Seemed like we did. You should already know that. All right, what about this one here? We have negative 125. Now looky here, it's all in parentheses, raised to the 1/3. So we need a number that when we multiply together gives us negative 125. What if we had negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5? So you see negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 is negative 125. Notice we're doing it 3 times here. So that's equal to negative 5. Okay. Let's take a look at another one, because we are on a roll now. Look at here. What is that rational exponent? 2/3? Okay, here's how we look at this one. I want you to think of a number that we multiply together 3 times. All right, 3 times we get 8. So what about 2 times 2 times 2? Okay, that's 8. So this number is going to be 2. Now, there's a couple ways of looking at this. Don't worry about this negative, because this thing's not in parentheses. We could just leave it out for right now. But think about this. Okay, we've been working those problems. Now the whole thing is raised to the 2nd power. You see that? 1/3, 8 raised to the 1/3, and the whole thing is raised to the 2nd power. What do we do with exponents? We multiply them together. So 2 times 1/3 is 2/3, which is what we have right here. But we can work it this way first. So 8 raised to the 3rd is going to give us 2. Okay, so we're just replacing this in here with a 2. And the whole thing is squared. Right, that's our 2 up here. And that gives us, what does that give us? 4. Okay, but don't forget this negative out here. All right, gives us negative 4. Actually, should be giving us negative 4. Yeah. Now there's another way of looking at this. I'm going to rewrite this problem. You can also write it like this. Okay, 8 squared in the whole thing is raised to the 3rd power. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to work with, because 8 squared is 64. You got to think of a number when you multiply together 3 times, you're going to get 64. Well, that's 4 times 4 times 4. Okay, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So this just becomes negative 4. See that? Okay, that's another way of looking at it. All right, let's look at another. What time is it? Ooh, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We've only got, you know what? All right, we're going to stop right there. Okay, got a refresher, hopefully, or maybe learned something new. See you in the next video.